Okay, so I will explain one of the topics of my lectures, which is the design of numerical experiment, which is especially useful when you want to design small data. It means that you don't have a lot of you don't have a big budget. You cannot put a lot of data, and you have to well choose your data. So I come back to this global scheme, which explains the uncertainty management problems for computer code, which can be also the case if you have experiments. And it's a very general framework to deal with uncertainty. You define your uncertainty, you propagate the uncertainty in your computer code, and you look at what happened after all this task. When one run or one experiment is costly, you have the chance in this framework to choose your experiment. So I will explain how to choose this, and this is the tools, what is called design of experiment. So the first to introduce this problem, a very simple thing, a typical engineering practice that we call the one-at-a-time design. It means that when you want to know the effect of one variable on a system, but you have many variables, you just fix all the variables, you move one variable, you take one variable, you move it between two values, and you look at the effects by making a kind of difference between the value that you obtain at this point and the value that you obtain at this point. And you make this for all the variables. This is what we call the one-at-a-time design. We move each variable one at a time. So for example, here I have two variables, x1 and x2. My experiment P1 is so give me the response of G for x1 low and x2 low, P2 x2 high and x2 low, and P3 x1 low and x2 high. Okay, very simple. You do this when you want to test the effect of an ingredient. For example, if you make some chemical trial, you want to test what happens, so it's very natural to do this. However, I want to underline that this is a basic practice, but the information that can be brought by this kind of practice can be potentially wrong. The exploration is rather poor. Exploration means exploration of an input space. It's rather poor. If you have a kind of non-monotonicity between these two inputs, it means that, okay, you obtain the same value when you perform this point and this point. So you say, okay, each one has no effect, you have the same value, but maybe something happened here. Okay, maybe here you have an increase, then a decrease of the effect. So you cannot capture this kind of phenomenon. And if there is an interaction between x1 and x2, you don't capture although this interaction. Interaction means that the effect of one variable is not the same. The effect of one variable depends on the value of another variable. So the effect, maybe the effect of x2 is not the same when x1 is here than when x1 is here. This is an interaction. So of course, if you add a point here, you can capture this interaction. And finally, this kind of design leaves large unexplored zones of the domain. You have covered these things, but you don't cover all what happened here. Okay? So, excuse me. So, the model exploration goal, we have to define it. First, I will define by words, and after, I will define it mathematically. So our goal is to explore as best as possible the behavior of the code or the system by putting some points in the whole input space in order to maximize the amount of information on the model output. So we have to define maximize, we have to define amount of information, of course, but this is the global idea by words. And one of the big challenges is that this kind of goal depends, of course, fully on P. P is the number of inputs. If you have 2 inputs or 100 inputs, of course, it's not the same task to explore the input space. Contrary to the uncertainty propagation step, when I have explained that when we use Monte Carlo, when we want to compute probability of failure, it doesn't depend on P. Here we have the curse of dimensionality. Once another simple idea will be to make a regular mesh with n levels. So if you create this kind of regular mesh, you have n power p simulations points. Okay. So of course, if p equal to, and you take 3 levels, you have 9 points. But if p equal 10, you have many points, 60,000, around 60,000 points to put. So we are facing the curse of dimensionality in this case. You can say also, okay, I can just make a random sampling, a Monte Carlo sampling to explore the code. However, this is not a good idea in this case, because Monte Carlo lets the chance occurs, and you have no guarantee that you will well fill the space. With Monte Carlo, you can have points very close each other, and maybe you leave big empty zone in the space. So here you see I just put 10 points in an input space of dimension 2, okay, and so I see, okay, I have points everywhere, but here I have no points in this big zone, and I have points very close each other. And what I want to explain is that it's not a good idea to have this kind of thing, because if you have 2 points at the same locations, you have only one information, so you have lose 1 point, in fact. Okay? So having this kind of configuration is not interesting. What we will get, what we want to have is something like this, an optimized design. You see there are no points close, there are no close points, and the empty space have been reduced. Is it clear, all this idea? Now I have an exercise that we can do. We can try an exercise. The idea is that you take a paper, everybody takes a paper, and just, it's a very simple exercise, no mathematics. It's just an imagination exercise. I propose you to draw a square, okay, and imagine that you want to have you have to put 3 points in that square, so 3 points, okay, and you want to maximize the information that can be brought by these 3 points. So the question is, how do you, where do you locate these 3 points? And you can make the same exercise with 4 points. you are numerous, so I cannot see the solution of each of you. Okay, so for example, maybe
Should I close this?
excuse me.
With this, do you have any problem in writing, or you should stop that?
No, you know,
The projector will be